Oh, goodness, change something. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy to have my inaugural interview for folks that are working on and completing their everyday expertise online courses. I am really beyond happy about this. And today, Leanne Hawkins is my guest, and thank you so much, Leanne, for joining me today.
Pleasure's mine, totally fine.
Okay, so if you've ever seen that show Inside the Actor's Studio, at the end of Inside the Actor's Studio, after he's interviewed the celebrity, he has a list of 10 questions, and he asks the same 10 questions to every single guest. And that's always been so fascinating to me, and that model felt like a really great way to talk about everyday expertise, to talk about online course creation, so we can all see how various different people navigate the same challenges. So that's what we're going to do.
Perfect.
Question number 1. I should have the blue cards. If I had been clever, I would have the blue cards. I don't have the blue cards. Let's just pretend I have the blue card. Okay, question number 1. Where do you live?
I live in Indiana. I always preface this by saying I grew up in Southern California because the cultures are so different. So I grew up in Southern California, lived there for over 50 years, moved to Indiana, live on some acreage, 5 acres, pond, barn.
Oh.
Well, it's insane. Of course, everyone here goes, why would you ever move from California? It's like too hard. But it's really fun. I'm enjoying it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, what was your first reaction when you heard about everyday expertise, the opportunity to use everyday expertise to create your own online course?
I think when I heard about it, I thought, what a neat idea for the future. And I thought, this is something being brought forward into our new future. And this was over a year ago. There was no coronavirus and all this upset that's going on now. And thinking about just the idea about passive income, I thought, well, that's an interesting thing for people to explore. But it's never been about the income for me. It's been about a new technology, a new way of being, a new way of reaching people, a new way of sharing what you love, and a new way of educating people. Mm-hmm. And so when I heard you bring this forward, that just excited me, and I thought, great, let's do it.
Yeah. And what was the tipping point that tipped you into signing up for everyday expertise when you did, rather than waiting till later or whatever else?
I guess when I thought about it, I don't remember how much you were talking about it or posting about it at this point. It just grew in me, and there was some clarity. Let's just do it. And I think we put it on sale. Maybe that was it. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to grab at that brass ring and jump forward and go for the ride. And I remember asking me, I hope you have room for me. I was kind of intimidated. Like, I don't know, Veronica, are you good enough to do this? Yeah.
What is your course topic?
The first course I did was how the art and ease of hosting a dinner party. When you and I started talking about possible topics, because everyone else was posting things I thought were so creative and so cool, I thought, I don't really have a really cool creative thing at the moment. And we started talking about cooking or hosting a dinner party. And I actually sat there and thought about it. I tried to sit still and have some clarity. What do I do that other people go, how do you do this? I could never do this. How do you do this? And why are you so calm? And so I thought, well, okay, maybe that would be a topic. And then from that grew other, and we'll talk about these others later, a couple of two other courses I had in mind. One is called Feast for 50, Holidays for 100, and the other is Speaking Statistics, or Navigating the Statistical Terminology for us. So that's kind of a little bit off topic. But that was the name of my first course, is The Art and Ease of Hosting a Dinner Party. And the title came from Veronica, everybody. I'm not good at titles. And I was like, I don't know, because I think we did a 30-minute call. Mm-hmm. And that was fabulous, because you can accomplish a lot in 30 minutes. And I'm like, and so you just said, tell me about it, and you get the energy of what I'm trying to do and come up with this great title.
Yeah, it turns out, I didn't know this, but it turns out I'm pretty good at coming up with titles for things.
I don't know if you have any help with that or not, but you're pretty good at it.
You know, I just sit in the energy of it. I just sit in the energy of it. And as folks tell me about their course, I just let it fill me until I start spitting out words. And I've done this with multiple people, and it's super satisfying. Like it's that feeling of when you go to pay and you have the exact change in your purse, you know, that like
key something out in the last box, you have the exact number. Yeah.
Right? It's like that key in the lock feeling is and then the person gets all excited, and then I feel that excitement. You know, one of those days when being an empath is awesome.
Well, getting a title is hard, and if you don't have the right title, it's not. You're not setting off on the right foot. You have to pay attention to get an idea really what you're talking about, and to lead you forward. So I think the title thing is very important, and it makes it real.
Yeah, and it's.
You actually have a title.
Yeah, and it's
my
easy.
Daughter and I have this,
What's that?
Oh, I said my daughter and I have this long-standing joke about when you're sitting down to write an academic paper. The first thing you do is you think, well, I've got to choose the font. It's wasting time. How about the size of the font? And then you go, I need to dust the mini blinds. So we always like, are you dusting the mini blinds yet? Because is that part of the process? Yeah. Because you're just, so getting a title is kind of like dusting the mini blinds. You have that title, and now you can go.
Yeah.
No more excuses.
And there's often a temptation to come up with a title that's sort of abstract, and I'm like, make it say what you're doing, because sometimes people will only see the title of your course. Mm-hmm. And so if it's, blue was green, like blue was green is great for like something else, but blue is green is not going to get people to click on your link. So I've been shaping the ability to be like, come on, push it in. And that's been fun for me too.
Good. Because that's a gift, so we can benefit from your gift for that. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Okay. What blocks came up for you as you were completing your first course?
In the first course, the biggest block I had is I'm a big picture thinker person. So I like to see, I like to know what the end result is, and I like to see how all the puzzle pieces fit in, and so then I can go, okay, I know how to do this now. And the way the course is designed, and it's perfectly okay, it's just a different way of doing it, it's a piece at a time. So you just follow it piece at a time, but you're not really, I didn't understand what the whole thing would be. And that was a bit of a stumbling block, and I even talked to you about it. It's like, and we talked about you being an abstract big picture person. And so, so I just kind of learned the rest. I just went, step by step through the process, and I finally just relaxed on it step by step, because once you do this, you realize you're not going to hurt anything. You can always go back and change things. It's not the end of the world. It's very flexible. It's kind of like a playground, really, as you can play in. And so you really could race through all the steps if you wanted to, and just put placeholders in. And if you really want to see what the whole thing looks like, soup to nuts type of thing. But that was the biggest block.
Yeah, and in talking to you, actually, I started advising people, don't feel like you have to do your official topic first. Go through the whole process, teaching people how to tie their shoes or make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or whatever, if you want to get to the end and see what the end is. Because multiple people gave the same feedback. I don't know what I'm going toward. And I was like, you don't need to. You just need to go step by step. And people were like, that's just not how my brain works. I was like, okay, then you need to do the peanut butter and jelly thing. That's for the people who just want to go step by step and want to stay on the step they're on. That's great. And if you need to feel like you understand the whole process before you can feel creative in the process, just buzz through the whole thing on a topic. I call it the silly, simple topic. Pick a silly, simple topic. You never have to show another human being what you create on your silly, simple topic, but it'll get you to the end, and you'll be able to see what's going on.
And I think it would give you the freedom, too, if you wanted to expand a little bit. You can make a video in a silly, simple. You could go out and get some pictures on what are they called? Pexels and what's the other one called?
Unsplash.
Unsplash, yeah. And add some stuff and like make it joyful.
Yeah.
So like if you want to how to pick a yellow daffodil and put it in a big box, something that gives you joy, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's not complicated. I agree. That's totally good advice, and you could. You're not going to hurt anything. You're not going to hurt a thing.
Exactly. And that comfort you get with the software, what I've gotten the feedback from lots of people is, once they realize, oh, this is what's going on, then their creativity blossoms in that. And they're like, oh, you mean I can do that? Oh, that gives me 5 ideas. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to have it all planned out in your head to begin.
Yes.
In fact, I think it's better if you don't, because as you go, you find your traction and the juiciness and the bits and bobs that feel more important.
Yes. And sometimes it's hard, though. A little caveat with that is I tend to get too expanded and put too much stuff in. I need to kind of stay on track, otherwise I'll be like off on a million topics rather than staying.
Yeah.
What I'm supposed to be doing.
It's a balance.
Good. It's all good.
It's a balance for sure.
It's easy to do. It's easy to follow the everyday expertise. I don't think it would be too easy to follow Thinkific. But it's easy to do, and you just have fun with it.
Okay, so that was what blocks came up, yeah? And how did you move past those blocks? We kind of already talked about that. Do you have anything else to add on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. How have you changed as you created your course?
Oh, that's a good question, and changed a lot. And this is not my first rodeo. I've done a lot of things. I've accomplished a lot of things professionally. I've taught at the university level. I've created courses. Blah blah, yada yada yada. So you kind of think, well, so different about this, totally different. This is a personal expression, and this is something I wanted to share it with people from the stance of love and passion and just sharing and making the world a happier place. It still has nothing to do with making money. It'd be nice someday to get passive income and to see how this works, and that's super. And I know right now there's a lot of push, like this is the time to put your online course out because everyone has to stay at home. But I kind of stay away from that whole financial thing unless you're driven that way. So anyway, how have I changed? I think during part of the process, you do have to come to grips with the fact your name is going to be there, your face is going to be there, and you're creating an online presence. And so that's a little difficult. And I was not one to be on Facebook. I'm not on social media. I'm not I can be an extrovert, and I've had to be professionally, but at heart I'm an introvert. Creating that, you kind of have to think about that. But it's been joyful because when you are, if I can use the terminology, when you're in the truth of you, what you really want to do, then you really are authentic, and you meet authentic friends, and it's all good stuff. And so putting yourself out there, and it's kind of like I still had a little bit of, well, what's someone going to say, and you kind of have to move past that. I don't know who the someone is. And you finally get to, well, what are they going to say? I'm going to live my whole life with an in-breath. Forget it. Just do it. So that was, I think I'm much more comfortable with expanding, and it's just been joyful.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Yeah, there is that moment. The way people often phrase it is, I can't stand the sound of my own voice when it's recorded. And I say, really, I've not met anyone who was in love with the sound of their own voice recorded, so that's what we call a starting point, not a stopping point. You're like, okay, I don't like to hear my own voice. Okay, carry on recording anyway. That is not a stopping point. So, yeah, that's really lovely to hear. That's really lovely to hear that even though you've had a lot of professional opportunities, this came more from your heart and your own personal passions and how different that was for you. That's cool. Okay. Did you want to say anything more about that?
I just wanted to tell you a funny story real quick about hearing your own voice. I started doing, in a statistics course I was teaching, a doctoral program. I knew how everyone hates this and they're scared of it, so I tried to make it very friendly. So we were doing these stat chats. So on Tuesday nights, I'd sit alone in a room with a computer, and I'd have an Adobe Connect, and the students could connect with me. And we could talk, and I would go over their exact lesson, give them the answers, show them how to do it, because I wanted to be, and I'd record this, and they could listen over and over. And yes, I didn't like the sound of my own voice talking. But the funny thing is, one of the students sent in her cat, I forget his name, like Rochester. Rochester would hear her voice come running in the room and would lay his face against the screen like this, the computer screen. And so because he loved the stat chats. And so after that, it just became, okay, I have a comforting voice.
See? And what's really amazing about that story is nothing about how your voice sounded to you necessarily changed. You know, like we got into the science of it. The frequencies coming into your ears didn't change. Your perspective on it was shifted.
Yes. And it became okay.
Yes. Okay, so how did it feel to launch your first course?
Oh, that was really fun. Because once you get through all of it, and at the very end of the course, there's the bit about trying to get the, I want to say the catchwords, the phrase words, the whatever, the search terms. I forget the whole. It's been a while since I looked at that. And then you just move beyond it. It's like, I don't think nobody looks at this. It's such a personal accomplishment. In a way, it's the way to write a little opus. It's a way to publish a book. I mean, how many of us are really going to sit down and do that? It's a way to create something in a way that's shareable but different than anything you've done before. And it just feels, it's like you say, yes, I did that. I did that. It doesn't matter if anyone ever looks at it or not. I did. And that may sound a little crazy, but that's the sense of accomplishment it gives you.
I don't think it sounds crazy at all. I've often said that I discovered that everyday expertise could be just a personal development course. Like literally just going through and putting yourself out there, even if you never published your course to the public, but just going through all the steps creates personal development and opportunities to look at blocks, look at habits, look at places where you're still listening to the voices of other people about who you are and what you're capable of. People at the end typically say to me, I can't believe I did it. I mean, I did it. And that excitement isn't based on feedback from other people. That excitement is based on the reality of having what you just described, done something for yourself, of your own passion.
Yes. And it turns out beautifully. The course looks professional when you're done. And I did use Melly, the graphic artist, to create the icon and the course photo. And I'm glad I did because I couldn't have done it as well as she did. And it's also fun just to kind of spread things around and give her some work as well. She really does a great job. And so I'm glad I did that. And you can't get hung up on it. Oh my gosh, what color, font, what color? You just do it. Just move forward and do it. And it is, I was going to say here, oh well, doesn't matter. But yes, it's a sense of personal accomplishment, and it's something you can always just kind of feel inside of you, like, I did that. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so do you have any other advice for course creators?
I think the best advice right now, if you're a little bit hesitant about the whole process, just get on the court, just do something fun. Like I said, how to cut it up and then put it in a video, whatever, how to eat a cookie, whatever makes you happy. And those things are actually hard when you break them down. I had to open the door. I had to walk, it's not a too crazy thing, breaking down instructions, or just do what you want. Read a poem. Do something fun. And just do that, including setting up the PayPal account, including setting up the search terms. Just do it all. And you'll find, and look at, in the course, look at look and see what the student will see, and you'll be so amazed at how professional it looks. It's just amazing. And if you're not in that, if you move beyond that, and you have any questions, I highly suggest you contact Veronica because she will pull you out of whatever it is. She happens quick, knows what to do, and she'll just help you just reach through your hand and get you out of that pothole and go again. And it just and don't I wouldn't worry about money either. I just don't worry about it. This is an investment when you buy the course. And she said it's an investment in your personal development, and you will grow way beyond what you thought. And don't worry if it's going to need some money or not, because if you focus on that, I think that's a real stumbling block. It's not what you're doing.
So you're currently working on 2 more courses. They haven't been published yet. What would you like to share about the process of doing beyond your first course?
Well, what I'd like to share is these have been hanging around for a year. I mean, it's been a long time. And so during that time, I've tried to think through what's holding me up. And several things. Some of it's reality. I work a job, and I have worked a job for years that takes a lot of my time. I can be at work 15, 16 hours a day. And then you come home and there might be 4 or 5 hours of documentation, which sounds crazy, but it's the way the world has been for me. I'm trying to change that a little now, but it's been, so time has been a constraint. And working with a computer, I've done that a lot, and so I'm so tired of it that I really don't want to sit down on my free time and look at the computer again. That's been a block. I realized that. So I realized that was kind of stopping my creativity. So I thought, okay, then go be creative doing something else. If you can't be creative on the computer right now, if you're not in the mood, do something else. So I like textiles. I like to sew. I haven't had a lot of time with that, but I've made a couple things just for fun. I like to garden. I've gone outside. I'm looking outside, and when the weather's good enough here, the weather's in Indiana, we have weather, which I didn't in California. So I found that that's been helpful as well. I've been honoring my need to rest and just saying if I don't have the energy right now to do it, I'm not going to try to slog through, because I've had to slog through so many other things in my life, and that's not what this is about. So it's been a time. It's been one thing, and I think that's part of the issue. The other thing I realized was I'm creating a course called Navigating the Statistical Terminology Forest, or short, Success with Statistics. And that's actually bits and pieces of a university doctoral level stats course I taught, and I taught it in a radically different methods, and which didn't make me popular with other professors because I was too nice to. But I realized people need the real simple basics. And you need to understand the basics first, like even how to find the program, because IBM opens all these little windows, and which one is it, how do you click, here's how you go through, and I just demystify it and make it empower people. So I realized this is not a simple thing to put into, this was not Veronica's original idea that everybody could see. She was thinking of a shorter sort of a thing, but I'm creating kind of this is a bigger thing. And my audience has changed. And so the audience I imagined to begin with were the people I had taught before. And I realized my audience is a little bit different. And so I'm adding video. I already have a set of slides, but I'm adding video. I'm adding things, and it's taking time. And really, to create something a little more complex like this, it does take time.
Yeah.
But I am excited about it again. And I also somehow, me or the universe or somebody, lost the book I was using, so I had to get another book. I mean, stuff like that. But I will tell you, and the other course is Peace for 50, Holidays for 100, another Veronica title. And that's about how to host gatherings and dinners or feed large groups of people, which is really kind of funny right now since no one's supposed to be in the same room with somebody else. So it's really it's been an interesting journey. One of the things I want to talk about is Veronica encouraged me to make a Facebook group. And I'm like, Veronica, I'm not on Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I don't know how to make a group. I don't know how this is going to work. And she said, just give me, we'll do this conference call, give me 30 minutes. It's a Veronica 30 minutes, you guys, is like a trip to the Caribbean or something. Do this Veronica 30-minute thing. It's excellent stuff. True. And So, I mean, it probably took 5 minutes to set up a Facebook group. It's really simple. And I'm like, again, I'm putting myself out in a platform that, so I created 2 groups. One is called Speaking Statistics, and the other is called Feast for 50 Holidays for 100. So my husband, bless his heart, he sat down, he sat in the next room after he didn't know what was going on. He was inviting all of his friends to join this group because they don't have any friends because they're not on Facebook. And so, within a day I had like 50 people. And what's interesting are some of these folks I didn't think would ever respond to this topic, and they love it. And what I'm finding, so that to me now is inextricably linked with creating the course, the Facebook group and the course. And so I'm thinking now, when I finish the Feast for 50 Holidays for 100, I'm just going to publish that for free. I'm just going to say, hey, when we can get together again, use this.
Oh.
And so I think that will be fun. And the other one, the Success with Statistics Facebook group, I'm going, what can I post? Well, it's been really fun. And you guys are welcome to jump on there. You're welcome to. It's called Speaking Statistics on Facebook. But you can see what I've done with the photos. I try to come up with a creative photo or creative something. And there's always something available. Every day you can sit down. And Veronica said the secret to success with this is just consistency. And I will say over the last 6 weeks, when the whole energy of the world has been heavy and we've all been tired, I've let a few days go just to try to cope with what I need to cope with at work and life, and it's been okay. Then I join back in and everybody's right there. But that has really been a very enriching part of this. And so then I think when I come out with the course, and I think it's given me a new way of thinking of my audience for the statistics, because looking at all of this craziness in the media, trying to hear some real data, trying to be calm, and scientific isn't the word I want to use, scholarly, about sorting through. There's multiple different sides, there's multiple different points of view. How can you sit and actually sort through? And it's looking like in our future life, we're going to be more tied into being online with things, and we need to be more savvy about sorting through what we're hearing. Yeah. So I'm really hoping, so I've kind of changed, so that's going to help me go back and change my recordings a little bit. And I think maybe part of what took me so long is that this is the right moment to come out with it, and it wouldn't have been 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's a really interesting observation. Both of your courses, they're relevant, and their timeliness is so interesting. And I think it's very generous of you to be willing to offer your Feast for 50 Holidays for 100 course for free, because even if things come back to the way they were, they won't come back to the way they were. And things like being able to feed 50 people for a very low price starts to be something that we probably all should know, not just you.
Or catering, like I've catered a couple weddings. They weren't fancy. One was my granddaughter. They couldn't afford, one was our oldest daughter. Again, it's just kind of a cater maybe isn't the right word, but it's like you can do this. And
yeah.
I think, but it gives me such joy to think I can do this, because it's just something I can do, and it's part of it will, I think, enrich the group on Facebook, and it's really fun to, as you say, these are lonely times, and I'm not lonely, but when we moved here, we really don't know anybody. And what I thought was going to be a warm and engaging sort of a group at the university I was with turned out not to be that way. And so I'm not lonely, but I don't have a lot of people I talk to around here either. I mean, I do some, but, work I do. But so this gives a real sense of community, and that's been great.
And the nice thing that I want to add about the Facebook group, because a lot of people will say, I don't like Facebook. And I reply with, I don't particularly like Facebook either. What I like about Facebook is not the Facebook wall. That to me is a place. I have mine deactivated because I refuse.
Yeah, right.
So Facebook groups are a completely different idea than Facebook. Facebook groups are a closed environment where you're all talking about the same topic that is something you love to talk about, and now all of a sudden you've got a bunch of friends to talk about the thing you love to talk about. And because everyone's there on a specific subject, you can delete things that are off topic or ask people not to post things off topic if you need to. It doesn't happen very often in my experience. If you're not talking about politics or religion, you're probably okay. People, you know, when you get people gathering around to talk about something they love, like feeding the homeless, you know, pretty much we talk about that, right? So, and you don't have to be on there every day. I suggest a couple times a week that you post something, and the feedback I'm getting from people, even people who refuse to use Facebook and didn't like it and all those words, is it's so fun. It's so fun to talk with people about the thing that I am totally passionate about. How it's fun to do that. And so,
you're using Facebook platform to reach
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
We're not using the social media part of it, because and you have to be. A long time ago too, Veronica, you told me, forget the friend thing. You know, you're going to get all these friend requests. You just have to ignore them, and it makes you feel kind of like, ah. And it's not. It's just the computer trying to friend you. It's not, they're not on there probably trying to friend you most of the time. So, and then the other thing I find about the group is I'm kind of talking. Or I am talking, or I'm posting, and I'm creating something, and I don't get a lot of them won't reply, but I get a lot of likes. I get a lot of likes and thumbs up. So they're reading it, they're enjoying it. This is the group of people that are going to get on there and interact a lot. Something that may change, that doesn't bother me either. You can't let it bother you.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, because you know what, they're enjoying what you're posting, and they're learning from it, and
Yeah.
they're thinking of new things, and it's great. It's a great teaching tool.
And you can never know who sees it. I had someone just the other day say, I've been hearing you, Veronica, talking about stop trading time for money for months, and I'm going to sign up for Everyday Expertise. And I was like, I don't recall ever interacting with this person ever, not once, ever seeing this person's name ever once before, and yet this person was having a meaningful interaction with what I was offering. So I have a friend who, her partner's a chef, and he started doing Facebook Lives, and he was discouraged because not a lot of people would be on live with him. And we were like, just put it up anyway. Just let people come to it in their own time. And a lot of times people who join your group later will go back and consume content you created weeks, months, even years before. So be careful not to judge. Be careful not to assume. Be careful not to let insecurities talk you out of it. Right. Be steady and enjoy what you're doing. Let yourself be present and be seen. You grow every time you do that, and you increase what the world has to engage with as you do. So, yes, indeed. Oh, Leanne, this has been wonderful. I'm so grateful that we could spend this time together this morning.
I'm so honored that you would ask me to do this, Veronica. Again, it's been joyful. It's been an incredible personal growth experience. But one other thing I'm thinking of, as probably you all can tell if you see me, I'm not young. And I think it's important for people 50 and over, maybe 60 and over, I don't know, 70, I don't know. I don't know the age group, but you've got to stay, and I've been fortunate with my work and teaching and going to school and blah, 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 to be fairly computer literate. But a lot of people aren't, and so, and again, as I look into the future, I see it's really necessary to have some skills, and this is a really fun and easy way to keep your skills up, because the Facebook group is easy to navigate, it's easy to learn to post pictures, it's easy to ask somebody, hey, how do you do this? I mean, everybody in the world does it. It can't be hard, right? Not hard. And also, the everyday expertise, it keeps your skills up, and it moves you forward into something I see as really vital to living a full life. And I think we need to do that. We need to change and grow all the time. So that's just another thing.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that, but that's a really, When I created Everyday Expertise, I had in mind a student that doesn't feel really confident with the computer, but I never thought about it as a way to tune up their computer skills and keep them keep them with their computer skills. I say if you can click and type, you can do it. I still feel strongly that that's the truth. I know everyone can click and type. I believe in everyone, and I know they have something in them that the world will benefit from being able to experience.
Yeah, I agree. So thank you for giving us this platform and for being you and just the enthusiasm and energy and always so quick to respond and so quick to come up with a solution. It's just boom, yay, and then you can go.
You're very, very, very welcome. Thank you again for joining me for our very first episode.
Hey, I'm not supposed to stand with the computer monitor. See, I don't know how to do this. I probably look like a goon, but that's okay. It's in my
Have a lovely day.
You too. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.